Ooh. Hey, I cut that a little short.
You cut it short.
You cut that really short.
Hey,
It was not 30 seconds.
What happened to the 30 seconds? Hey, it's our first episode from Friends from Work. I'm Rick Shue, Brian Chatelain, Courtney Cheek. Hang on to your hats. We have a great conversation. Stay with us.
Everybody come on, let's get down. Get down.
And we're official. So,
Ooh.
hey, our first episode. We're finally here. The Friends at Work.
It's been a long time coming.
You sure about that?
A long time coming.
Friends
And
from work.
From work. And listen, we want to say thank you up front to the amazing, super talented Freak Bass. Thanks for your friendship. Thanks for the music. And even though I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mention this person out loud publicly yet, I'll just say the person that you hooked me up with that did our logo and has branded us and helped us out, thank her as well. Yeah. And when I have permission to say her name, I will. How we doing, guys?
Good.
We're doing well.
Stoked.
We're here. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Love it.
It's our first episode. So, guys, welcome to the first
episode of what?
Of Friends from Work. It's an all-encompassing pop culture podcast. I'm your host for this episode, Rick Shue. With me are my partners in crime, Brian Chatelain and Courtney Cheek. Hello, my friends.
Hello.
Happy to be here.
I have to, I'm going to have to look at that camera, but I want to look at you guys. This is going to be fun.
I know. I'm like doing the same thing. Like, here's my camera. Here's y'all.
Because we're in a multi-million-dollar studio.
You know what works for me is if I take my glasses off, I can't really see either, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Just
I like that.
look in the direction of the screen, and then your
eyes are doing this.
We got it.
I'm good. I'm
going. We will have some kinks, but that's okay. This is our first episode, and we don't care. So we're airing this first episode live on YouTube. We are streaming it right now on Facebook and Twitter, just so we can kind of cast the net out so you guys all watch. But ultimately, we want everybody to go to YouTube to watch this and hit subscribe while you're there. Please. Also, we will edit this and we will put this up on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and wherever great podcasts are found. Starting next week, that should be up probably Monday.
Love it.
We're
like,
here.
share, subscribe.
So before we get started on our topic for our first episode, I want to thank everyone that has been interested in us doing this, and we have been talking about it forever, and we thank you for your patience. And Brian and Courtney, I love you guys so much, and I want to thank you both for offering your talent and your time to partner up with me to do this show. So thank you both.
I'm excited to be here. When you first called me, I was like, oh God, he's never going to want to talk to me again. But I'm really excited. This will be really fun. I've been wanting to do another podcast regularly for a while. So I think it'll be fun. I mean,
well, this is
everybody
yours.
else is giving their opinions on the internet. Why not us?
That's right. And this is yours. So guys, here's the way we're going to plan this. We have a lot of really great guests that are waiting in the wings that I've already some really great high profile guests. Not that matters, and that's synonymous with quality, but still it's cool. But I'm not bringing those people on until we work out all the kinks. But we do have a lot of guests planned, but the three of us will be hosting the show together. There's going to be times where I may be hosting and have my own guests, and Brian may be hosting and have his own guests, and Courtney, etc. And we may just fire it up and do a little rant or monologue or something on our own. Who knows? We're going to start doing movie reviews. We're going to really have a resourceful website, which, Courtney, what is our URL on that right now?
It is friendsfromworkletschat.com.
friendsfromworkletschat.com. Go there, subscribe on YouTube right now. Please subscribe.
And there's no crazy symbols in there, underscore, no nothing, all one word.
That's right. And we need
the URL for the website. I mean, some of the other channels, because I guess Friends from Work is like a popular phrase. So a lot of the social channels, we have underscores and dashes or like pod.
Yeah,
correct. And we understand, by the way, that there's a few podcasts called Friends from Work. We don't give a shit. Okay, we don't. The reason that we don't, it's not trademarked. And also, we didn't realize this until we branded it, and we have the Let's Chat. Yeah. But we were looking for a name. You know, I came from a very Batman-centric background, and it was a great run and all that. But a few years ago, when I launched the satellite show and I started talking about Star Wars was really the main focus. and then I did an episode on Batman on Film where I talked about Rocky franchise. And then we just started going into.
We did a Tarantino episode.
Then you guys came on board and started doing all those with me. That's essentially what this is. This podcast is no rules. We're going to talk about anything and everything pop culture. Courtney apparently has a TCU rant she's going to hold for an episode.
Look, I love football. What can I say? I'm opinionated.
It's her.
You gotta do it while it's just fresh, though.
It's her show.
Yeah,
whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
Who am I?
I've simmered hair since last week when we did this. I was very I'm still, look, long story short, I'm still not happy with the hire. It's bad optics, regardless. I don't care how you slice it. I'm still upset about it, but I will still have my season tickets next season. That's the crux of it.
Well, and I think a good solid will be good for the soul. It'll be cathartic. But just try being a Cowboys fan, a Texas Longhorn fan. Talk about
see, I have no sympathy for you Longhorn people because you have Del Conte, you have Drew Martin, and now you have Gary Patterson. So no sympathy for you.
We also have
you guys have the recipe for success there.
And by the way, for those of us that are watching, that all you know is like sports ball words, I'm right there with you. I don't know these two. These two, no sports here.
So what are we going to talk about on episode 1 of Friends from Work? And by the way, if you guys have watched our promo video, which we filmed back in October,
that was October?
15 pounds ago for me, I might add. I lost some weight. What's up with that? No,
good
yeah, whatever. But I'm old. But
that's good. You should celebrate that. Healthy is good. Healthy is good.
Healthy is good,
man.
Whatever, But the video had a really great response. And by the way, we've got several more in the can that Brian's ready to roll out. But what I love is I had friends reach out to me. They're like, dude, you know what? Shoot you straight. Is that this looks fun. This looks like 3 friends bullshitting about pop culture, which is like,
that's pretty much
that's
what it is.
The show. That's the show.
That's
the damn
we'll be
show.
in the middle of a conversation. Like Rick, you randomly called me the other day and I didn't answer because I was on a call for work and I'm really sorry. But you'll randomly call and we'll be in like a 3-way call. And then Rick will be like, no, we gotta stop. We can't have this conversation. We have to save it for the podcast.
Sometimes I'm like, God, that's so good.
Let's record. Brian and I will get into like a GIF responding thread. And Rick's like, I don't know what any of these mean. Which is also hilarious. And again, he's like, we gotta talk about this on the podcast.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not getting your text. Brian, I was on the phone with Brian. He's like, well, Courtney's been. I go, have you heard from Courtney's wondering if we're on schedule? He's like, she's been responding. I'm like, oh man, I'm not seeing him. I wasn't seeing my mother's text last week either, so I'm having some text issues.
You'll get in trouble for that one. Your phone?
Oh, by the way, Brian, did you get the link for the show on your?
I did. I shared it on my Facebook.
All righty. So are we rolling? Are we actually live?
We've been live for 8 minutes and 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds.
Is it on our YouTube channel? I hope it is. It's supposed to be.
Okay.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Is it streaming there? That took some jumping through hoops to get approval for. It should be there. I hope it is. If it's not, okay, fine. We're up on Twitter, Facebook. We're gonna get this edited, and our friend Ryan Haas is going to edit.
Ryan!
Yes, he's not fully committed to it, but now I'm putting him on the spot. Yay! So he's going to edit our first episode, right? Where we'll have everything in place to just throw up on iTunes and Google Play and everything. It's going to be awesome, guys. Here we are. All right, so here's the topic. So
okay,
we're going to do our first episode. I thought what we would do. It's a little quasi anticlimactic because what is it? Already January FN 25th. Whatever. Who cares? I would like to talk about our top 4 or 5, whatever, favorite pop culture things from 2022, and then what we're most excited about or what we're anticipating the most for 2023. You guys good with that topic? Prepared for that? All right.
Yeah, I say we start with 2022. Let's do that first.
I like it. So should we do 2022 each person, then go back around? Yeah, I like that. We'll do that. All right. I'll go first just because I'm hosting here since you guys aren't guests. You just, you're just co-host. But if something is overlapping, let's dive into that like in real time. So if it's on your list, let's go or whatever, right? But do we all have the Batman?
Yes.
We do?
I think so.
Do you have the Batman? Do you have the Batman?
No, I didn't, but I can.
Oh,
No,
y'all
it's
actually
okay.
wrote this down.
I did
Hold on.
not, but I can.
No. It's okay. The Batman is one of
I
the
mean,
top.
it did get nominated for an Oscar. Did you guys see that for sound mixing
It did.
and set design?
It
I think it was
did.
set design.
I love this movie. And as a lifelong Batman fan, I can tell you there's certain things about this that we've never seen on screen before. Like some of it's very nuanced, but that initial crime scene where Batman shows up at the mayor's murder scene and Nirvana's playing and everything, and the way he's just interacting with the police, and he's in the room. He's not bolting within seconds, because you got a little bit of that in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins. But every time Gordon turned around, Batman was gone. Classic Batman, by the way. Nolan really captured that perfectly, and I forever grateful. But for this, what was interesting is to see him. I think about Batman Returns. Remember after that first big car chase and Batman's walking and Gordon walks up, he's like, "Hey, Batman, I think the circus gang is back." He's like, "We'll see." And he just keeps walking, like zero interaction. It's like antithetical to that. He's at the crime scene. He's interacting. He's giving clues. He's solving riddles, all the stuff. And I thought, I can't believe that is working in live action. I can't believe it doesn't just look silly that there's this man dressed up as a bat truly being a detective with the police, or at least trying to share his expertise to get as many of them to listen to him as possible outside of just Gordon, because everybody else is too skeptical of him for obvious reasons. The performances in there by Colin Farrell and Zoe Kravitz, just amazing. The Riddler was a little underwhelming for me, to be honest with you. I do like the character. I like the actor fine. I don't necessarily care if I ever see him again. But the Penguin, which we're going to get on HBO Max, which is next year, so it won't count for my favorite on the list. Super stoked. Zoe Kravitz was phenomenal.
Yes.
The cast was great. The third act dragged a little bit, but it's a phenomenal Batman film, and it's up there with me with the Nolan trilogy. It's that top tier. So that's number one. So what do you guys think? Just general, real quick. The Batman. Did you guys like it?
Go for it.
Yeah, I did like it. And I really appreciated what they did, because I think, honestly, it's a really hard act to follow coming out of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And as we've seen, no one's really been able to take a DC film from that, with the exception of Wonder Woman, and do something really great with it, in my opinion, at least in a very memorable way. So I think it was a really nice take. I know a lot of people really appreciated the darker tone to it. I think it just fits the character more in the world. My one problem with it, in the one moment, the one scene, the one area that took me out of it, is when they're all like in the convention center, and like there's all the water coming. Like, it's just, there was like this moment where you see all of these like people that are following these orders, like the villains per se. And I was sitting there and I was like, this is weird. Like, for some reason, my brain could not like suspend its belief that all of these people would come together to commit this crime from a person who's in jail, but then nobody would like, it was just kind of weird. Like, I had a hard time like connecting the dots. But otherwise, like, I really do think it's a great movie.
I do too. And I'll be honest with you. I actually agree. I think the third act and that whole sequence in particular,
it struggles.
It's kind of a chore to get through. I think it's better from a symbolic standpoint than it is an execution. So for instance, him leading everyone out, and he's quite literally the light that leads the way, is quite, I'm going to curse here, quite fucking beautiful. I mean, it is, but
it's the execution, it's real.
It's
real.
definitely.
But it's the execution, I think, is a little weak. However, the ending, like the little girl on the helicopter, that is such a classic Batman shot.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. And then the very ending where he's riding off on, when he and Selena go their separate ways, so it lands A+. But I agree. I'm not a big fan. I'll skip over that whole sequence. I'm not crazy about it. But I'm very grateful for it, and I don't think it's as good as the Nolan films. But what I do think is that it didn't have to be. I don't care. No. What I do think is I think that once it's all said and done, and Matt Reeves tells his story, what I assume is going to be a 3-part story, and I really hope he has Robin in it. I think we may have a definitive Batman trilogy that might even surpass Nolan once it's done in totality, right?
Yeah.
So I'm stoked.
Yeah. Well, one of the pieces that I really enjoyed, especially getting in towards that end scene, with him leading the people was something that I feel has been brushed over in a lot of, especially superhero movies, but it's the evolution of the hero. When you're looking at the hero's archetype, is the choice to become the hero. It's the choice to not just fight the bad guy, but save the innocent people. And that's where you go from being a soldier to actually being the superhero, being the hero. And it was interesting watching the choice made, watching the decision. It was an awkward scene, especially since basically at that point he should have been dead, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy them actually laying that choice out. I don't think I've seen it that clearly in the Batman movies yet.
No, there were some things in this that were, dare I say, revolutionary in terms of Batman live action. The some of the things that worked. And what's really cool, and we won't spend as much time obviously on all this stuff. This will be a 3-hour show. We don't want that. But what was an interesting choice is that if you think about the Nolan films, that story is really about Bruce Wayne. It appears this story is about Batman. Yeah. If that makes sense. And because first of all, he was Batman a lot more in the film than he was Bruce Wayne, which I believe is probably the first time in live action we've ever had that in terms of a juxtaposition.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And his Bruce Wayne is the one that is really struggling to have. He has an arc in the film, and it's a good one. Again, it's a little better in symbolism than it is execution, which I think is the fault of a weak point of the film in that regard. But it still works, and man, what a great cast!
Yeah,
I make no mistake.
Oh, the casting was phenomenal. The performances were amazing. I mean, it was shot beautifully. Like for a comic book movie, I mean, they get a lot of bad rap, but like it was so well done, and I think that's why it took people by surprise.
True, but it only gets a bad rap by Scorsese. Only he hates
Spielberg too.
Spielberg.
I think a lot of the old Hollywood guys.
Speaking of the Phantom Menace, episode 1, Lucas wanted him to direct that. That's a true story. But again, it's still solid. Man, it's a solid movie. All right, so moving on from the Batman, I loved it. Can't wait for Colin Farrell's. Man, he knocked it out of the park. Can't wait for HBO Max, The Penguin. The Mesquite, Texas in me will come out really hard on that word, man. I gotta be careful. Penguin. The Penguin. Oz. Oh man, that whole sequence where he meets him for the first time up in his office and Selena walks in. That's like, am I watching Chinatown? Is this Chinatown? Is this a Batman movie? God, Matt Reeves is brilliant. All right, moving on. All right, so my favorite character of all time, fictional character, is the Batman, hands down. But my favorite franchise of all time, Wars as a live action franchise in particular, is more consistent than. Okay, so we're live here. Am I losing you guys?
Yeah, you froze for a second when you were saying what the...
We were like on the edge of our seats.
Right? And he did it again. Bro. Buddy.
Oh, gosh.
He's freezing.
I'm going to keep talking here.
No.
All right, so Courtney.
So what was your number one, Brian?
My, honestly, of course, most things Marvel I'm in love with, but honestly, was Love and Andor. The one that I lost, so good. And don't tell Rick that. But the one that I lost my mind over because it came out of nowhere was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. It did come out of nowhere. And it's just brilliant. It's like the whole thing put together. That's on my list too. It's just start to finish. It's brilliant. I mean, Michelle, she's fantastic. Nominated for the Oscar. First Asian American nominated for an Oscar, which seems like that should have happened a long time ago. But I digress.
Yes.
She totally deserves it. I'm so excited for her and that entire cast. I mean, they've done such a good job with that movie.
Rick, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I have no idea. We have no idea what just happened. We're live.
Everything, everywhere, all at once is what
I need. I need that Bill O'Reilly thing. We'll do it live. All right, so
there you go.
We're gonna move on. Move on for the Batman. So
we were talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
So Star Wars, obviously my favorite franchise of all time.
Okay, I don't know if can you hear us, Rick?
He can't hear us.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can.
We
Okay.
were not talking about Star Wars. We went on to Brian's number one.
Well, I know you did because well, I don't know what you did, but I got lost. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
We're sorting it out.
So
We're
now we
sorting it
went to
out.
Brian's number one. So we're doing Brian's number one, and then we'll come to my number one, and then
All
we'll
right,
just go down the
what's
list
your
from
number
there.
one?
It was everything.
Brian's was
Everywhere All at
everything
Once.
everywhere all at once.
That's. There's a delay. There's something.
No,
Something.
I'm just waiting for you to
Okay.
elaborate on it. No delay.
No. So as Courtney and I were saying, it's honestly, it is the most borderline could be, should be incoherent mess of an eyegasm. And yet somehow they tie the pieces together into something that is utterly out of this
Amazing.
world. It matches the title perfectly. It is literally anything and everything all at the same time. And I have absolute awe of the balls of the filmmakers.
Nice.
They've got scenes that I have never seen on camera before, and somehow not only worked, it was emotional. You've got two rocks having a conversation on the edge of a canyon, and there's an entire tearjerker moment between two.
Yeah.
Really? I'm on board. I love it. Bring it on. No, that is absolutely one of my all-time favorites of this year that came out of freaking nowhere.
Last year.
And,
Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen it, go see it. It's worth it.
Yes.
It's weird. Do it in one sitting. I don't think that's one of those ones you can break up. What do you guys think about that?
No, you got to do it all at once. Like you got to buckle in, have the snacks, have the popcorn, like turn the phone on vibrate or do not disturb or something. You bet.
Just
yes.
let your brain go down the rabbit hole. Don't have any distractions going on, and just go there
Just go with it.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, and Stephanie Hugh, I don't know how you say it. Hugh, I don't know. Her audition tape that the casting office posted it a few months ago. And like, I lost my mind. Like that was one of the most impressive auditions I have ever seen in my entire life. It's
you might need to
amazing.
send that to me. I want to see that.
I will send it to you. Yes,
Okay.
it is so good. It's
Nice.
amazing.
So Courtney, what about you? What is one of your top 2022 pop culture moments?
So I've wrestled with my order all day long.
Oh, well,
but
we do.
I
I didn't realize we were doing an order. I should have had a caveat
okay,
there.
so there's not so it's an arbitrary order. That makes me feel better because I have a hard time picking number one. I loved She-Hulk. I loved it. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah.
I loved so much of it. The season finale was probably the best Marvel season finale that I've ever seen. Like it was so clever and just like the writers pushed them so far. It was great. I loved it. I love the breaking the fourth wall. Do it all day long. I am so here for it. Like all the random callbacks and like recognition of like people who have stayed with the franchise. Like so good. I loved it.
Did any of the CGI? You know, there was I watched the new Ant-Man trailer recently, and I put on Twitter that I was really underwhelmed by that. It's a little bit more justifiable on Disney Plus, right? Because it's still a streaming show. Did anything take you out of it? It doesn't sound like it did. It sounds like you were just in it.
Yes and no. I mean, but what's nice about it is it makes fun of itself. Like when she breaks the fourth wall, like as Jennifer Walters, like she straight up says, like, you think we could have like had a little bit more budget put into the CGI, but okay. Like she makes comments like that throughout the whole thing. And I think that's what makes it so much fun is because you're laughing with them and like the writers and the cast and crew are acknowledging like, nah.
They had episodes that were designed to set the trolls off.
Yes. Oh my God. So good.
Was calling those trolls out. And this was shot like almost a year in advance.
2019, 2020, because they started right during the pandemic, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
It was like they had live feed on what the trolls were doing, and they just knew. And it was brilliant because they were trolling them back. I love it.
We don't need a woman superhero. Why did like this the whole thing? Like it was it was so brilliant. It was so well done.
I didn't commit to it, and it was for no other reason other than just bandwidth, family time, whatever. But I watched a few episodes. I was thoroughly entertained. I thought it was a great fun. Yeah. I can't really carry on an intelligent conversation about the show as a whole, but I liked what I saw. And the thing about it that stood out to me in the episodes I've seen was everybody there looked like they were just kids on a playground.
Oh yeah.
Having fun. And that was
Absolutely.
contagious. And that was very
And
contagious.
that's what I loved about it. And that was like the best thing about it is like an episode would come out and like you've had a long day at work and you're drained and you sit back and you're like, haha, this is great. Like this is like case of the week on and off, but it's a comedy. Like it was just, it made fun of itself. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people I know who don't love Marvel as a whole struggle with is they think it takes itself too seriously. And this was a really good, step back from that if, people think that. So I don't know. I loved it.
Nice.
So what do you think they're going to do with her moving forward? Is she going to cross paths with Deadpool?
I don't know, but I hope she at least is a reference in the new Daredevil show.
Yes.
If she's not at least reference, I don't see her being in the show, but if she's not at least reference, I will be very sad because that's a missed opportunity. They were so good.
Yeah. No, they were amazing.
Well, we haven't seen the last ever. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay,
so,
Rick, what was up on your list?
So I'm gonna put 2 in 1, right?
Let's do it.
Star Wars. I was
Okay.
giving my little monologue about Star Wars.
Mhm.
Both Andor and Obi-Wan. They gave me exactly what I wanted for each show. And Andor, I didn't know what I wanted. It took a while to warm up to it. I didn't even really like it until I watched it the second time.
When we met to do our video, you were not on board.
I was not on board. I thought
You
it
were
was.
not.
I thought it was.
You called it Blade Runner.
Yes.
Hold on. You called it Blade Runner.
I thought it was.
Feelings are still hurt from that, by the way.
I thought it was vapid. I thought it was pretentious. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought this isn't Star Wars. It's not fun. It's not joyful. There's not even a
It's
damn
not
droid
supposed to
anywhere.
be. It's supposed to be
couple.
Argo and Zero Dark 30 put together.
Correct.
In Star Wars.
I still had a problem going, I get that, but I still don't believe that the Emperor and Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker exist on this planet. I didn't feel that way about Rogue One, and not just because Vader was in it. Quite frankly, the Vader stuff in Rogue One was a little bit distracting because it just was, other than the last scene, of course, that was badass.
Yep.
But what made me fall in love with Andor was when I was able to let all that BS go and sit back and say, dude, this is an incredible story. It's an incredible story of perseverance, of hope, of struggle, of it has a little bit of
rebellions are built on hope.
Right. It has a little bit of Shawshank Redemption and there has a little bit of it does. It has a little Blade Runner-esque, but there was a lot more Star Wars in it than I gave it credit for when I watched it the second time. Yeah. And I'm a big Last Jedi apologist, and so like defender, whatever you want to call me. And so the whole thing about cancel bite and if you want to gamble your life, well, you go to cancel bite, do it. Don't do it here. I thought, hey, just the Coruscant, just all sorts of stuff. I missed it the first time I watched it, and I loved it. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it that bridges to Rogue One even more. Because what Rogue One did, I don't know how, but it made A New Hope better. Mm-hmm. And so I think, and I think that Andor
it gave it a tangible like background in a way, like. Yeah, it made that like it wasn't just this vacuum that you saw in A New Hope. There's all this stuff behind it, and it gives it a new like supporting evidence in a way.
Yeah.
Correct. Very well said.
So I want to jump on Andor. That was definitely in one of my top
on my list as well. Yeah,
I would fight you on this. I would actually put this above Obi-Wan. Loved Obi-Wan.
Agreed. I would too.
Yeah, it's up there. And it's one of the biggest pieces is I think it was the creation of some of the most interesting characters I've seen in the Star Wars universe. Just about every major character that was put on screen, given a name and given any kind of story, their stories to me were more interesting than just about anybody I've seen in Star Wars in a while. And I want to know more. I want to know about the arts dealer turned rebel leader in the shadows in the background with a ship that puts the Millennium Falcon to shame, but certainly
close.
It is the most beautifully put together sleeper that I've seen in a long time. But the fact that it's in sets of 3 episodes. Each set of 3 episodes is a completely different story as he goes through these different chapters of the series. And every one of them, the prison break.
Oh my God, that was
that entire thing, and then
best Star Wars ever.
Yeah. And then you get to the prison break and his answer is, I can't swim. Sorry, spoilers. His answer is, I can't swim. And you go, this is the most interesting character we've seen. And we don't know if you survive this.
We have no idea. The season ends and you don't know. Like,
I want to know more about almost every character in it. Yes.
It's Snoke. It's not Snoke the character, but it's the same actor that played Snoke. And to have him come in and do such a memorable character in a Disney Plus Star Wars show is really cool. Plus, also the aforementioned the Batman. He was an awesome Alfred. I didn't think. How do you beat Michael Caine and Bell? How do you do that? You know, I didn't mind.
Well, Andy Serkis is a remarkable.
Andy Serkis, Marvel and Lord of the Rings, and so
he's
much.
in everything.
Phenomenal. It is so good in the ending.
Chameleon.
He is a chameleon. He's a Gary Oldman type. He's that good. Man, the ending's great. So I loved it, and I loved Obi-Wan. And I'll say this about Obi-Wan. Here's what I loved about Obi-Wan is that when you're dealing with legacy characters like they were, it's going to be very contentious with fans, especially Star Wars fans, especially Star Wars fans online, particularly Facebook and Twitter. It's the most toxic fan base on the internet, hands down.
Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
They're as bad as hardcore Snyder fans, and in some ways they're worse. Because at least Snyder fans are sort of like myopic, right? With Star Wars fans, like, what is it you want? You are talking about the same franchise, right? Because I feel like we're not talking about the same franchise. You've got these weird standards for this just because Disney owns Lucasfilm now. But did you see Attack of the Clones? Which, by the way, I like Attack of the Clones. I defend Attack of the Clones all the time. I will to my dying day. But, you know, I'm making a larger point here. I mean, the prequels were not historic filmmaking. They were very flawed, and I see past the flaws and things I love about them, and I elevate the things that I love. The things I love elevate those films for me. But in this case with Obi-Wan, I just wanted something that tied in the trilogies together, the first two, and also how do you capture the aesthetic and kind of vibe from the prequels and going into the sequel trilogy. And quite frankly, I think that Lucasfilm has done a very good job with this in live action, generally speaking, because there's a jarring difference in the way the prequels look and the way the original trilogy looks. And Andor did a great job making that bridge. It's kind of the haves and have-nots, right? And having that kind of that visual. But truly to see Ewan McGregor come back and give such a beautiful performance. And yes, damn it, Hayden Christensen as well. I love the whole little Leia thing. No,
the Qui-Gon cameo was amazing. Okay, she was the most perfect casting I could have ever pictured in my entire life. She was adorable. She was Leia to the T. Yes. Like, bravo casting. Like, bravo. Yep. Amazing job. And then she, of course, did a phenomenal job as well. Her performance was great.
Great. I think it's a beautiful show. And I think some of the stuff between Obi-Wan and Vader is some of the most beautiful Star Wars ever, especially when Hayden's voice is going back and forth between James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen, and or I should say Vader and Anakin. And man, that's gives me chills. And that's the only thing about Andor that the reason I don't put it above Obi-Wan, because the reasons I fell in love with Star Wars have very little to do with Andor. Andor is challenging me to love the franchise in a different way. Which is good.
I can understand that, but I think I think Andor is why I appreciate it so much more.
True. I agree.
Because I didn't grow up as a Star Wars person. Like, I'm one of 3 girls. I grew up with Disney princesses, and then that's pretty much it. And then I got into superheroes, and all hope from my parents wanting me to be normal was lost. But I do appreciate the people like my fiance who have grown up with Star Wars, and it's a very, I don't know, it's just rooted in so much history and nostalgia for them. And I think what Andor did, it allowed me to take my appreciation for other projects that I love and adore and apply it to Star Wars in a new way. And I think that's why we're not ranking, but if I did, it would be above Obi-Wan for me.
That's cool. And that's fair. I have no problem with it. So far, I like all the Disney Plus stuff. I like Boba Fett, love Mandalorian, etc. But I got to say Andor and Obi-Wan. Now, since we're on the topic of Star Wars, I'm going to just transition to my 4th one because I love The Last Jedi. And Rian Johnson was the writer and director of that film. He got a lot of pushback online for choices that were made, and that's fine, all fine and good. But I think it's a beautiful story. I think it's a wonderful movie. And I love Rise of Skywalker, I might add, and I think they complement each other, and I will die on that hill. I do. I really love Knives Out. When that came out,
So good.
So good. And when I watched it again recently, I thought, man, you know what? This guy is really good. And I hope he comes back to Star Wars, not just because I love The Last Jedi, because I love
I
this
need
guy.
a moment for Chris Evans in that cable knit sweater.
It's great. And I loved Glass Onion.
It's so good.
I loved Glass Onion. I've got to put it on my list. I think
I'm halfway through it. Don't kill it. Don't spoil
All right.
it.
You guys
All
haven't
I'm
watched
gonna
the
say-
new ones yet?
I'm
No,
halfway through Glass Onion.
Glass
Give me a
Onion's
minute.
one of my top 2022 pop culture moments.
Okay.
I love it.
I was a little confused there, but
We
it's
won't
really
talk
good.
about-
I won't spoil it, but it is very good. It's fun.
It's very good. And to see, and I love Ed Norton.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
And then my last one for 2022, and then I'll wrap, and you guys take the stage. I love Wednesday. I loved it.
So good.
I
Yes.
loved it. I watched it twice.
Jenna Ortega deserves an Emmy. Give
my
her the
Lord.
Emmy.
That girl is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Give her the freaking Emmy.
That show is because Tim Burton is hit or miss for me.
Yeah,
Batman,
I've heard that.
Batman hit. Batman Returns, miss. Big Fish, hit. Planet of the Apes, miss. You know what I mean? Like that's
Big Fish is fun because not a lot of people really seem to remember it, but I loved it. It was great.
That's his best
Yeah.
movie in my opinion.
Really?
Batman 89 and Big Fish, yeah, for me.
Okay.
So, but this is the best of Tim Burton.
Yeah.
It's well
This-
written. It's well directed. The costume design and the stage design are incredible.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
100%.
And then Jenna Ortega, amazing.
Is
She
incredible. Yes.
crushes it.
I have it on my list too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's that I absolutely love Wednesday. I've watched it twice. I'd sit through it again. So there's mine. The Batman, Obi-Wan,
fact,
Andor,
do you know
Glass
where-
Onion, Wednesday.
Fun fact. Okay. Do you know where Jenna Ortega crosses over into more of a fandom universe? Do you know which one she was in?
Other than
Iron Man
Scream?
3.
Oh, was she? I don't think
Fun
I
fact.
was.
She's in Iron Man 3.
Yes. Same director in Iron Man 3 as Wednesday, the series.
Oh,
Fun fact.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Okay.
All right, so Brian, what's
Yeah.
the rest of your list for things in 2022 that you loved?
Rest of my list.
Andor,
I'm-
Andor,
Taylor and I are the
Andor
hockey. Am I? Oh,
What?
Andor
sorry.
was
Did I
one.
cut out?
So Andor's one. What else I got here? I am going to throw another movie up there with the perfect name because we had a couple of really good movies with perfect names this last year. The other one is Nope.
I haven't seen it.
Not for me.
Not
What's
for
that?
you.
I'm a wimp. I'm a
You're a
wimp.
Nope.
Not for
But see,
you.
that's like there's so many moments in the movie where I'm just sitting there going, nope, nope, and it's perfect. It's ideal. It's weird. It's out there. It takes you on a ride. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
I've heard amazing things from it. Taylor loved it. All my friends who saw it loved it. I am a scaredy cat and I'm a wimp. So
Okay.
I have to like create a
And it
little
has
safe
definitely got
space.
some just straight terrifying moments. Like there's a whole
not
lot
for
of
me.
Nope. So
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah.
What do we got? Wakanda, honestly. That's one of my other big ones.
Yeah.
Um,
that was so well done. Angela
that
Bassett
was-
deserves that Oscar, man.
Oh my goodness.
So freaking
goodness.
amazing.
Is that on your
amazing.
list too?
Was that?
Yeah.
Is on your list too, Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah. I cried. I don't normally cry in movies, but I was bawling.
I haven't
There's
seen
not a lot of superhero movie scenes.
Rick, you haven't seen it?
it.
Bro.
Sir,
I havened seen it. I know.
go
No,
away. Like you're not allowed back on the podcast.
Well, it's one of the
until you watch
reasons.
it.
It's one of the reasons I'm excited that we're choose is going to get me back in shape of watching as I get sort of complacent, like especially a year where
Yeah.
you get Batman content and Star Wars content.
True.
Yeah.
I'll kind of zone out. I'll zone out. And so proceed.
Now we got a movie that we need to review here. What was it? Shotgun Wedding?
Shotgun Wedding.
Okay, so folks, keep an eye open for that one. We're going to be doing some sort of review on that here soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we got a
Um,
press link for that just a couple
yeah.
days ago.
So we're gonna check that out and let you know what we think. Wakanda was absolutely amazing. I loved how they tied the unexpected death into the story and turned it into, okay, what is our next stage? What is the next step?
Yeah.
While moving the Marvel cinematic universe forward, because they can't bring everything to a halt just to cover this, but they have
But
to.
they had to acknowledge it. They had to
Yeah.
at least like let it have its moment. Because I think for so many people, this Black Panther was their, foray into Marvel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
into feeling seen. And so like you can't just act like it didn't happen. Like you have to acknowledge it. And I feel like they did it. Ryan Coogler did an amazing job in incorporating that. And it was just beautifully done all the way around. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. But yes, it's on my list too.
Yeah. And
he's amazing.
I'm not going to give, because Rick hasn't seen it yet, but the ending came out of freaking nowhere and just killed me. Loved it.
Okay, hold on. I have a soapbox.
Oh.
So here's the thing I struggle with. So you're telling me that, there's this whole group of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things have happened. Endgame has happened. And like, you know where I'm going? Like, and then just all of a sudden
where
I feel
you
like
been?
something.
Oh yeah, no, there's gaps, there's holes in the movie. Like there's a hole where you been.
Yeah, that's my I was sitting there and I remember we're in the theater opening night and I look over at Taylor and I'm like, what about Endgame? Like, was he not freaking out? Like, clearly he knew somebody did something. So,
and because they haven't tied it into the rest of the cinematic universe at all.
No.
What about the ending of it? What's that?
No, go. I know where you're going.
Because they haven't tied the movie into the cinematic universe yet at all. What about Tiamat, the ending of Eternals?
There's a giant ass robot sticking out in the middle of the ocean.
There's clearly a big hand right in their backyard, and nobody's going to say a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And like, I feel like as a Marvel fan, you have to like kind of learn to like overlook it. But when you have friends that aren't Marvel fans and they're arguing with you about why it sucks, you're like, I don't have an argument for that.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Well, with Marvel doing what they're doing, trying to figure out Eternals, like it could just be an alternate universe, but that feels like a cheat. But nobody's referenced a hand sticking out of the middle of the freaking ocean.
And a giant head. Just floating, like, I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, nobody's yet referenced this, but they're going to have to address it big here.
They have to address it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cordy, what else is on your list?
Yeah. What do you got?
Well, Brian, did you finish yours?
Yes.
Did you? Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I also had Wednesday on mine. I also had Andor, and then I also had Wakanda. My other two, so I kind of put two together because I couldn't decide on 5. So I have Emily in Paris and Sex Lives of College Girls. They're like in the same line because they're both wonderful and I love them.
Emily in Paris was fantastic.
I love it. It is so
I'm not even
fun.
going to knock it. It's amazing.
Darren Star knows how to hit me where I feel, and I love it. And I love Paris, and it's one of my favorite cities in the world. So I love it. I mean, it's very aspirational, and like everything else, it has, there's flaws, but I do love it. And then Sex Lives of College Girls is fantastic. Rick, Jennifer would love it. It's Mindy Kaling, and it is these freshman women who go to this university in the Northeast, and it's just they all come from these different walks of life, and it's so fun, and it is so like realistic. Like there's so many scenarios where like, oh, yep, that happened to me and my roommate, or like, oh, I remember when that happened to me. Like it's just not like, it's not honeyglot like with a funny lens or anything. Like it's very like, I don't know, it's so fun and it's very enjoyable. So Sex Lives of College Girls, it's HBO Max, and then Emily in Paris is Netflix, and then my last one was Top Gun Maverick.
So okay, now Black Panther, I'll get around. Top Gun, I intentionally avoided. When I say intentionally avoided, how can I phrase this? I didn't give a shit. I just didn't care.
Okay, I didn't either. Right. But it's so well done. Like it is everything a sequel needs to be. Like it is everything that.
See, and I had the VHS
I hear
back
it
in
is,
the day, and I
I'm
saw
all
it 25
board.
times, and grew up wanting to not wanting to do the musical in elementary school because I don't need to know how to dance. I'm going to be a fighter pilot. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'll say this too, by the way. So with Top Gun, I don't want to get into this because it almost gets political. I don't want to get political here.
Oh boy.
Tom Cruise has been kind of weird.
He's
to me.
lying.
Tom Cruise is kind of a weird dude. All right. And sometimes I have a hard time separating the art and the artist. And so
that's an ongoing debate. Yeah.
But I'm detaching myself from it. It's not like I think he's a bad guy. He's just kind of a weird dude. Now,
just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
I'm a
but
bad
here's
guy.
the thing. When I think about movies of
Zangief.
his that I love, are some of my favorite movies ever. I'm a sucker for Cocktail, by the way. I think that's a guilty pleasure Tom Cruise film, and I love it. I love Interview with the Vampire. I love there's so many great Tom Cruise movies.
I mean,
Jerry
Mission
Maguire.
Impossible.
Jerry
love
Maguire.
those movies.
Jerry Maguire is obviously great.
I
that's a
loved
great
Oblivion.
movie.
Rain Man.
Yes.
You know, Dustin Hoffman gets a lot of credit for that film.
He's one hell of an actor, and he knows how to make a really compelling film for sure.
To play off that. So I'm all for watching Top Gun. I'm going to get around to it. And I at least am aware of how he handled Val Kilmer. And I think that's A+ class.
Oh, it was awesome. Like I read some stuff from between Deadline and Hollywood Reporter where like they, knew background on the whole thing. And like, it seems very classy the way he did it.
Yeah.
And it is such a well done, and it puts him in such a great light. And Val Kilmer, and it is everything a sequel should be. It's better than the original, in my opinion. Hot take.
Listen, I'm all over it. So I'm going to succumb. I'm going to see Top Gun. You liked it too, Brian?
Do it.
I did. It was one of those ones where I walked in not wanting to be critical, but walked in with I grew up on this movie. Don't fuck it up. And
could you fuck that movie up though?
Yeah, you could. You really could.
You really
there's a million ways you could absolutely mess that whole thing up, because it comes across, I mean, before you even go in the theater, it comes across as a cash grab. It comes across as Hollywood doing what they've been doing, which is, hey, let's make a sequel and cash in on the goodwill that was earned by someone else. So it's way too easily one of those kind of things. But yes, I did walk in a little critical because of that. Like, don't make this a cash grab. There's just enough nostalgia moments that hit you in the happy feels where you're like, oh, I know that. There's just enough of those that you feel good, but there's enough of a departure that it feels a little bit more original.
Sure.
And the ending of the movie, I was sitting there, ADHD brain, which is what we do, where we're sitting there playing the plot ahead, going, where's this going? Where's this going? This is what ADHD brain does. I'm trying to already wrap up the ending 15 minutes into a new TV show. And I was sitting there the entire time through going, how are you guys going to wrap this up? Okay. And then they came down to a decent wrap up. I'm like, oh, we're doing that. We're doing that. Okay.
Well, don't say it, because I want to see it. And I'm
it's fun. It's worth it.
It's fun.
I do regret not seeing it in IMAX. Obviously, he
held out
for that.
There's a chance. So, Rick, there's a chance they'll re-release it in theaters for the Oscar campaign because it has been nominated for Best Picture.
It has to be. He's going to.
Oh.
And by the way, as far as the
I would
cash grab,
keep an eye out for that.
Well, and as far as the cash grab thing, let's give him credit where credit is due. He doesn't need the money.
No, he doesn't. He was very deliberate about it too. I read in interviews where he was like, there's a reason I didn't do this. There's a reason it has been 25 years since this original came out. And I have mad respect for that, because it very easily could have been the studio comes in and says, hey, we'll give you a bunch of money. And he could have said, sure, sign the paperwork and be done with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And again, I've had some issues with the man, but I'll just say this. He's one of the last remaining true movie stars. And we need to cherish that, because there's not a lot of rock stars left. There's not a lot of movie stars left. Great line from Bobcat. What's his name from Police Academy? Stand-up comedian.
Goldthwait.
Thank you. He says that golf has killed more rock stars than heroin. That's a funny line if you know what he's talking about. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so
and I will just like to say, Jerry Bruckheimer, if you're ever listening, I will gladly be cast in anything you produce. So
okay, let's hit pause right there. I'm going to jump to my most anticipated list of 2023.
Yeah, we got to flip because we're already
we are through this.
Listen, we're working out the kinks on this thing, and Ryan's going to have a hell of a time with and I got to do something about losing internet. That's not good. Okay, Jerry Bruckheimer. Let's build on that for a second. So one of my most anticipated things for 2023 has to do with Jerry Bruckheimer. I am one of the world's biggest Eddie Murphy fans. He is
he's
such a
back.
phenomenal artist. Like, people have no idea how
He's
amazing he is.
hilarious. Yes.
He
is
also molded
amazing.
my childhood in terms of my sense of humor. I mean, I was 9 watching Delirious and Raw. Probably shouldn't have been, but I was. Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, Golden Child. I mean, then later.
What was it through like most of the 80s and most of the 90s? Like he came up with like almost 3 movies per year.
He did. Now he lost me in that time of his career, and that's okay.
Yeah.
He became the whole Nutty Professor and some of the romantic.
See,
comedy
that's
stuff.
the Eddie Murphy I grew up with.
True, but
That's how
that was
I learned
amazing.
about him.
Well, I can be your father, so that makes sense in terms of age, probably quite literally. But what I'm excited about is Axel Foley is such a great character, and those first 2 Beverly Hills Cop movies are 2 of the best action comedies ever made, period, hands down, ever. And Trading Places is still probably my favorite comedy, pound for pound, ever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop 3 was trash. It was so shockingly bad. I remember watching it going, why did he do this? And quite frankly, Coming to America 2 wasn't much better. I wasn't as angry about that one because I had 0 expectations. It was not a sequel. That was the first sequel. I thought, let's not touch this and whatever. It was sweet
Meet
in
Dave
moments.
is the one that pretty much
It was okay. It just was not. I mean, Coming to America is phenomenal. Coming to America 2, Beverly Hills Cop 3 is one of Eddie Murphy's worst movies. So what I love about this is recently I saw him being interviewed, I believe, on Collider. And he said, and I love Collider, by the way. But I believe it was Collider. And he said, Courtney, the reason, and this was just recent, this was just a few days ago, what got him to come back to do this, because he's made some attempts over the years with some scripts and things like that for Beverly Hills Cop 4, is that Bruckheimer got in the middle of this and gelled it and brought it back to the roots. And
I mean, the man can do no wrong. I mean,
right.
I'm convinced. Like, Jerry Bruckheimer, I'm your biggest fan. Please cast me in something. I will do it.
Cast all 3 of us, actually. So Beverly Hills Cop 4 is on my top list because I think we're going to get something special out of that. And also the fact that Taggart's back is really cool. The whole original cast looks like they're back. Everyone alive anyway. What's his name from Perfect Strangers is back, as well as, no, I can't be serious. What's his name? Surge? No, never mind.
I don't know.
Showing my age. Great character, funny movie. Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, Beverly Hills Cop 4. Hands down. I'm going to just burn through these, okay, for time's sakes. What are the 2 things you guys think are on my list that are Star Wars?
Oh,
I mean, Ahsoka.
Mando.
If you don't have Ahsoka, then we aren't friends.
Ahsoka. That's right, because we're going to get that Hayden Christensen Force Ghost. What's up? And then this guy.
Yep.
And Mando.
And I love the trailer for Mando.
The new trailer for Mando.
It's so good. Dude, it's so good. So both of those shows, hands down, thank you, Disney Plus. Thank you. The creators over at Lucasfilm, and Dave and John and everybody, and Kathleen Kennedy. Everybody's amazing over there. What'd you just do? You moved me around? Okay.
Yeah, I'm moving.
So I'm excited for those 2 things. And then I'm also very excited for The Flash. And actually, I'm going to talk about that last. And then Creed 3. Now, here's the problem with Creed 3.
Oh, boy.
Rocky's also one of my favorite franchises. I cannot believe how good those Creed films are, both of them. And Creed 2 should have been awful. The whole premise is stupid, but it worked. It's a beautiful movie. The first one's better, but the second one's really good. Stallone's not in this. He has no part of this. He has no creative input on this whatsoever. It makes me a little frustrated.
Speaking of Stallone, Brian is in his next TV series. Shameless plug.
You are on Tulsa King, and you made the trailer here on that. But I love Michael B. Jordan. I love the franchise. I love the character of oh my gosh, what's the actual character's name? Shit, I'm going blank. Why am I going blank on this? I can't believe I'm going blank on this.
Michael B. Jordan's character?
Yeah, it's Adonis. Because he takes on his father's name. That's part of his arc, right? So Creed
Michael B.
3,
Jordan's amazing.
Ahsoka, Mando, Beverly Hills Cop 4, Creed 3, and then here we go. This is all a nostalgia trip for me. Looking at this list, it's like, Jesus, this whole thing is nostalgic. The Flash. Ezra Miller is a chocolate mess. God bless the guy. I hope he gets his act together. I don't know what James Gunn. This is a whole conversation for another show about what he's going to do.
Yeah, we just need to do an episode on that
with the DCEU and everything. What stays, what doesn't, whatever. Right. What I can tell you though is that whatever happens, we're getting Michael Keaton back for at least a movie.
Yes, please.
Michael Keaton is coming back to reprise his role as the Batman. As I understand it, the inside buzz, the people that have seen, it's like, dude, chef's kiss. And obviously Batgirl was canceled, so we're not seeing him in that. Yeah. I think James Gunn will ultimately do his own version of his Batman for his DC, whatever. Again, we'll get into that another day. But the fact that I get to sit in a theater in 2023 with popcorn, with my wife, kids, stepkids, whoever's with me, hopefully everybody, and to see Michael Keaton play Bruce Wayne Batman again, if it's the last time we get it, I'm gonna shrink him up. I'm gonna put him in my pocket and carry him with me every day. So excited.
Brian, was that on your list too?
Flash and Batman.
Yeah, well, is that on your list?
Michael Keaton's Batman's in The Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm asking if that's on his list as well.
That was not on my list.
I
am looking forward to it, but that was not on my list.
Okay, one more I'm going to squeeze in there because I just read it today.
Mm-hmm.
So I just squeezing in there is Frasier. It looks like the Frasier.
Yes.
Frasier has a new show coming out where he's now in a different city. It's Kelsey Grammer. I'm the biggest Cheers fan on the planet. That's right. And Eddie Murphy fan and Star Wars fan and Batman fan. You heard it here first. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Kelsey Grammer. And I hope that he never relied on Cheers with the Frasier spinoff. But once the show was established, he brought the characters back, like Shelley Long came on, Ted Danson, Woody Harrelson, Bebe Neuwirth, obviously. Phenomenal stuff. And I hope we get a little bit of that. And also R.I.P. Kirstie Alley. We didn't agree politically, but you were so amazing and so funny, and rest in peace. Okay. There you go.
Ryan, you're up.
Is it my turn? Okay. By the way, I want to add one to 2022.
No, you can't. You can't retroactively change shit.
I'm not adding too much to it.
What do you think? This is Brian from work?
I think
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that actually works. Can we rename this? This sounds like a good idea.
I'm sorry.
No, all I want to put in, I think it was 2022, was Nobody. Did you guys ever see it?
No.
I feel like I saw it, but now I can't remember.
I mean, I watch random movies sometimes just at night.
Okay, so Nobody was another one of these ones like I don't know who you are, but I will find you. It was another one of these ones where they've taken a middle-aged male actor and turned him into it.
Yes. Okay.
Badass.
Yes.
Courtney, you saw it, Courtney?
Continue. Yeah, okay. I think I watched a lot of it like this, but yes.
It is. So Rick, watch it. It's fun. It is. There's so much of it where you're just watching it going, cool. It's wonderful. I loved it.
What's it called again?
It's called Nobody.
What's it called again? Anybody? Nobody.
It's Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Phenomenal.
Being absolutely amazing. But they've started doing that where they'll take a middle-aged actor and give him an entire John Wick makeover. And I'm here for it. And honestly, Stanley Tucci, I think, is the next one that needs to get that treatment.
I love Stanley Tucci.
I would love to see Tucci doing one of these movies where he goes full John Wick on somebody. I would love to see this. Okay, so 2023, coming back to this. The reason I brought that up is we have Extraction 2. And if you saw Extraction...
I forgot we were getting that.
Was very good. I got Extraction 2 coming up, and I'm mixing right in with that the fact that we've got Expendables 4 coming in. So that's just the silly, just absolute.
Is Dolph Lundgren in that with Stallone?
I don't know. How did you say that?
Dolph Lundgren?
Not Lundgren.
Lundgren?
Okay. I will go with that. That's fine.
I don't know.
Never trust me on this stuff.
I have never heard that pronunciation before.
If anybody that listened to me on my old podcast for all those years, you know that I fuck up names with the best of them. Don't trust me. Pronunciations, terrible.
Fair enough. We got the next John Wick movie coming. I'm digging
Indiana Jones. Sorry.
And Indiana Jones, I haven't seen much on it yet, and there have been too many memes about how ridiculous it's getting. So I want to see something solid before I'm going to be rooting for it.
I don't even know if that's this year. That might be 24 anyway.
It's set for 23, I think.
Is it 23? Okay, go ahead.
But I haven't seen anything other than just a really, really, really base level teaser. So I want to see more before I'm going to root for it. But I'll watch it. Anything Marvel, we got Guardians, I got Spider-Verse, I got Ant-Man. It's the Loki season.
Spider-Verse,
Loki
dude.
season 2. Oh, Spider-Verse. Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Because Marvel, the entire thing is so tied together, I'm on board with it.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
that is
I'm there.
phenomenal. God, that is so good.
The entire I'm loving all of it. I would love to see another What If. I think that's coming up. Really?
I tried What If. I did. I really did.
Okay.
I can appreciate it for what it is. And I love animation. My sister works in Lucasfilm. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want her to get mad at me. But I love animation. I appreciate animation.
Yeah.
I could not zone in enough on What If. I see what they're doing and it makes sense. Conceptually, I'm there.
Okay.
However, I got bored watching some of these episodes. Yes. There were certain ones I was like, okay, I'm vibing.
Wow.
And then I would get to a different, a certain episode and I'm like, okay, I'm on my phone. I'm not paying attention. I'm no longer invested. I don't know why. I can't explain it.
Okay.
But yeah, I do think we're getting the second season though.
We are. So on with that, I think, what else have I got? Of course, Mando and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Mandalorian, the new trailer, loving it. I'm on board with the
Oh,
thing.
it looks so good.
I can't wait to see
so good.
everything.
Boba Freak.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
So there you go. That's my. I don't know if that was 5 or 10, but there you go. That's my list.
And Courtney,
I love it.
Any chance you can ever get your sister to do the show with you?
I don't know. She honors. She is an employee, so I don't know.
Of course,
I can ask her.
of course. It may be more not for, obviously we would never ask her for inside information.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We wouldn't expect that, obviously. Well, she wouldn't do it anyway, right? But I mean, so we wouldn't. That's not. And by the way, one of the things I'm taking with me from my previous group is something that a lot of pride with this, and I give a lot of props to Batman on Film. Never a scoop site, never a bullshit site. Never. Even with information that could be scooped. Never happened. Not once. And we're going to do the same thing here. This is never going to be a scoop site once we get the website going. We're never going to drop rumors. We might have fun with some fun internet rumors and engage for hypotheticals or whatever. But I'm talking about this is going to be, we're going to respect the studios, the actors, the creative process and everything. Okay.
Yeah, she may, maybe, I don't know. So I'm getting married in October and my sisters are my co-maids of honor. And so we were talking about stuff a few weekends ago over the holidays. And she was like, so would you be upset if I don't speak at the wedding? And I'm like, no, I don't. It's fine. I don't care. She's like, okay, so I'm thinking I'll just get up and be like, hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm Courtney's sister. Here's Catherine. And I was like, that's fine.
All good.
I don't care.
Well, and
she's not an outgoing personality.
No. She's got her talents lie elsewhere.
She's hilarious.
I would just love her perspective on existing projects. That's all. But,
absolutely. Yeah, she may jump on. Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll see what she can do. We'll see.
Or maybe she could just write an op-ed for us, or whatever.
I doubt she'd do that, but she may just speak to her journey. Maybe.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Have her on tap dancing. That's fine.
All right, moving on.
Okay, so Ahsoka is high on my list. I'm very excited. Yes. Bad Batch season 2. I technically haven't watched it yet, which I feel terrible about, but it released this year, so I'm putting it on my list. My sister is credited on that, which is really fun.
Nice.
And she was also credited on Tales of the Jedi. If you haven't watched those are so good.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
So good. And they're
I got around to
size.
Oh my gosh.
They're great. I highly recommend those.
Pure Star Wars. The first episode sucked me in.
Oh my gosh. I was borderline crying. I was like, what is happening to me? I've also got Mandalorian on my list and then Secret Wars. I saw an interview from Colby Smulders. I don't know your
Smulders.
name. Smulders, thank you. And I was like my heart rate increased. I got excited. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. I'm really hoping it's everything I want it to be. And then I have a book on this list. So I fell in love with the series. It's the Finlay Donovan series. So the third book comes out and I'm very excited. And it comes out in like a month.
Okay, so Courtney, so I'm going to say this. So my wife, I don't know if she can hear me, Jennifer Shue. Okay. Anyway, she has joked around and said, can I come on the show? I'm like, of course. Anytime you want to. She's writing a book. I won't say what it is.
No way.
She's been working on it for some time, and she's brilliant, by the way.
Yeah.
And she's a brilliant lawyer. But I think that her calling as an author will not go unheard in the universe, right? And but anyway, so I think that would be a great episode for you guys to do together.
Yeah.
Just to, I mean, we can all just because she's an avid reader, like get her on about a book or two.
Yeah. Oh, I love reading. I read all the time. If you're on Goodreads, add me. It's fun.
So cool. And speaking of that, we have a lot of guests, and I don't want to say their names. I don't want to jinx it. But I've got a lot of friends that we're also going to be bringing on from other podcasts and things of that nature that I've known in the podcasting world for years and years and years. And so their expertise and their opinions are so amazing. Talking to you, Andy, at Holy Batcast, of course, Aaron at Fanboy Garage. I can go down the whole list. Ryan Haas, all those guys as well. One of the things that I'm also just like super excited about is some of the guests that we have lined up that I can't mention yet. I think are really going to come on here and give us some clout for the show. That not that we need it, but it's just going to be anyway. It's fun. I wish I could say names, but I can't yet. But just know that we got a lot of stuff on the books. But what we can promise you is no matter who is on,
people tied up in the basement.
That's right. Correct.
That's pretty much.
But no matter who is on. Low profile, high profile, all that nonsense. Good quality guests is what we're going to always have. That I can promise you, and that's that we can stand by, right?
Well, and then too, like the more people who are interactive with us, the more people that watch, the more subscribers we get on podcasts. Like then the more leverage we're going to have to get like people in active things that are being paid to come on and talk with us. Like that, the more that we can do stuff like that.
That is correct, and it's amazing how many good faith people. Even like the James Gunns of the world who are so high profile, but will take time to come on shows like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I admire that immensely. And like I had Chris McKay on the old show, director of Lego Batman. And just know this, we've kind of become buddies, and I'm hoping this is the only person I'm going to mention because I don't think I'll jinx this one. I really think and hope that he's going to come back and do this one with us. And so that's one person in particular that we got our eye on, Mr. McKay, if you're listening. So anyway, lots of fun. Yeah. All right, Courtney, did we get through your list?
Yeah, that's my list.
I love it. Guys, we got through the first show.
Hey!
We got through the first show. I mean, there's some kinks. We're doing this live. We're doing it live. So this is not like recording a normal podcast. And for all of you out there that have aspirations of podcasting, just know that do it. But it is a lot of work. It's hard. You're slave to technical stuff. Like for some reason, I'm like right here in my internet and dropped for a second.
Lighting.
My lighting's terrible. Take Brian's lighting and take notes from his because mine is crappy.
Brian's a professional photographer.
Yeah, Brian's a professional.
We filmed our video in his studio in Dallas. I'm here in the Houston area. And then Courtney's in the Dallas area, so is Brian. But I still am up there all the time, and I have residence there still. Anyway, we know the drill. Mm-hmm. But I'm very, very.
I technically split my time, but it's fine.
You technically what?
I technically split my time.
Oh.
Between here, LA, Atlanta, and New York.
There you go.
Technically. And Canada, technically.
Yeah, that's right, because you are Canadian. So
I'm Canadian.
So before we kind of do our little exit out of here, what do you guys think? I think we have a show here.
I think we have a show.
This is fun.
I think we have a show.
My brain is now going with more things that I completely forgot about for 2023. That I'm
Oh, I
looking
know.
forward to.
Same.
Oh,
The
it's
more I
the
think
worst.
about it,
Oh, it's
so
the worst.
many.
It's the worst. And you know what's going to happen when we get off the scene, just like you do an audition? Like,
we're
shit,
going
I
to
wish I
start
would've said
texting.
that.
So many things.
Yep.
Oh,
Do you-
I should have brought that up. Oh, when we were talking about why did I go blink with an actor's name? And
Yeah. Oh,
Do
all
you
the
guys
time.
know? Have you heard of the books Three Body Problem?
Mm-mm.
There's a whole series of like thick books that were translated from Chinese that are just the most amazing sci-fi novels that start wandering down a street and end 5 billion years in the future. And they're adapting it, I think, for Amazon.
That's
And
cool.
it is beautiful. So that is one of the ones that I'm hoping they do justice. I hope it is amazing.
I love it.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for
Yes,
watching
thank
the first
you all.
episode. Please subscribe and just know these will get better. They're going to get tighter.
This was good.
This is good, and
This
we're
was
gonna
good.
we're gonna edit the hell out of this and put it on YouTube. At least Ryan Haas is. And by the way, Ryan Haas, we saw that you subscribed to our channel while you were here.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
buddy. Thank you for the music, Freak Bass. Love you,
Yes,
dude.
sir.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to have you and Bob Seska on rotation. So many friends. I'm gonna start rattling names: Zaki Hassan,
Yes,
April
sir.
Hernandez, Ricky Church, just friends that I've done podcasts
All the
with
fun
over the
people.
years. Just so many people that I can't wait to have on here and just to geek out with us. So thank you guys for watching. Courtney, Brian, anything you guys just want to plug real quick on your own before we get out of here?
Nah. Subscribe. Listen to the podcast.
That's right. What's our Twitter handle at friends? What is our Twitter handle? Hold on. Anyway, I won't waste time here.
Friends
Follow us
Work
on Twitter.
Pod.
Friends Work Pod.
Love it.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere.
Yep.
Subscribe. Thank you so much. On behalf of Courtney Cheek, Brian Chatlin, Rick Shue, we are the Friends from Work.
From work.
And we're going to have Freak Bass take us out. Thanks for watching.
Get down.
And now we have to hit end. We're still alive, guys.
We're still alive.